Hey F1 community, today I'm going to predict the 2021 F1 season. I hope you enjoy it. So what you see here is my prepared sheet and I'm going to fill in all the gaps. So let's start with the Constructor Championship. And I think it's no surprise, Haas, in my opinion, will be dead last. They haven't developed a car, they haven't done anything but putting the car to the fitting the car to the regulations and made a horrible livery and sold the soul basically. Ninth, I think Williams will be ninth. I think they will score points this time, and I think only one driver of them will score points, and we all know it's going to be George Russell. It just has to be. He came close on a few occasions, and yeah, he bottled it. But this time, he will get the chance and he will secure points for Williams. Eighth, Alfa Romeo. I think they won't gain a huge step, and their driver lineup with old Kimi Räikkönen, who is obviously a legend and icon, but not as quick as he was in his prime. And Giovinazzi is not per se a bad driver in my opinion, but he isn't great either. So yeah, I think 8 will fit them well. There will be a tough fight in Formula 1.5, which it's called. So who is going to be last in this constellation? When you look closer, you see they had bad reliability but good pace. So I'm not going to give them 7th. Yeah, I have to pick AlphaTauri. They made a huge step up, and Yuki Tsunoda put in good laps, although he used the DRS too early. I know, but very impressive for a rookie. Aston Martin had a rough start, but they will eventually get reliability going and will secure some good points, maybe even podiums. So yeah, I think Aston Martin deserves 6th. Yeah, that's where I put them. So 5th, it's between Ferrari and Alpine, and I don't know. Ferrari is like a mystery box. They could be 7th, they could be 3rd. I don't really can judge them after the performance last year, but I think Alpine has a good lineup, so I will put them into 5th. 4th for me, Alpine. As I said, good lineup, competitive package, and yeah. At the end of the season last year, where they were known as Renault, the results came. So they worked hard all season, and at the end of the season, they were fighting for podiums. 3rd, I think McLaren will secure 3rd, with a little bit of a gap to Alpine, but also with a gap to the other two competitors, so Red Bull and Mercedes. I think they will be kind of in no one's land. And yeah, Daniel Ricciardo will have a great season, in my opinion. And Lando Norris will do his thing. He will also get good results, be consistent, as we know him. And yeah, so now it's the decision time. Who will be Constructor Champions 2021? Red Bull or Mercedes? Mercedes had a horribly preseason testing, but it's still Mercedes. They dominated 7 seasons in a row where nobody came close in the Constructors' Championship. Also Ferrari in 2017, 2018, when they were really strong, not even close in the Constructor. So, but yeah, there are some signs that Mercedes has really big problems this year. We all saw Lewis Hamilton in the gravel trap, but now Red Bull has, since Daniel Ricciardo left, the first really adaptable, good driver who can score many points in that Red Bull car. Not to say that Pierre Gasly or Alex Albon are bad drivers. I think they're both very good drivers, and I also like them very much as persons, but it didn't work out. The Red Bull didn't work for them both. But I think Sergio has the ability to score many points. Yeah, okay. So who do I think will be constructor champion? I'm going for, yeah, I'm just making up myself. Yeah, I can't see Mercedes lose this one. I think Red Bull next, also in 2022, they will be very strong with new regulations. But this year I can't see them win. They will get a lot closer than this year, and maybe the Drivers' Championship will be more open, but the Constructor Championship is too consistent. There'll be just one chance for Red Bull to secure this, and this is when, if Bottas doesn't like the car, if it doesn't suit him, and he falls off a roof. That's the only chance I see for Red Bull to win this Constructor Championship. Okay, so let's move on to the Drivers' Championship. I think there's no surprise who comes in last. We all know him, we all hate him, Nikita Mazepin. Wasn't anywhere close to the title fight in the F2 Championship last year. Had some rough moments, did some stupid stuff, made everything, the whole community angry. So yeah, I don't think he's a good driver per se. I don't think he's F1 worthy. I can't see him score any points in that Haas, because that Haas is also not a good car. And yeah, he's the worst driver on the grid, in my opinion. 19th, Niki Latifi. I think Latifi has improved a lot since he joined F1, and he had some glimpses of hope. But when you're up against George Russell in a Williams who isn't that easy to drive, you will look bad. George Russell, one of the greatest talents in F1 right now, and Latifi just doesn't have it, right? And he won't score points either, in my opinion. He will get a higher finish than Mazepin. That's why I put him in 19th. 18th, Mick Schumacher. I think Mick could score a lucky point, like in a crazy race, like, I don't know, Monza last year, where Gasly obviously won, or something like that. He could get a point, and if he doesn't, he will get higher finishes than Latifi or Mazepin. So yeah, 18th place for him. I think 17th will score a point. Now we're out of the non-scoring points places. So yeah, who do I think will go 17th? In my opinion, it's going to be Antonio Giovinazzi, the Italian Jesus. He will score some points, maybe under 10, I'm for sure. He won't score more than 10 points. And he won't outscore Kimi Räikkönen, because Räikkönen has that consistency. So even though Giovinazzi could have a great race, Kimi Räikkönen will have 4 or 5 decent races where he will score, and overall he would outscore Giovinazzi, in my opinion. So yeah. 16th, George Russell. I think Kimi Räikkönen in the Alfa Romeo is good enough to beat George Russell in the Williams and secure 8th place for Alfa Romeo. That's why I put him 15th, and yeah, George Russell will score points, as I mentioned before. He will have a good season, maybe great in Williams' perspective, coming from 10th the last 2 years. and he helped them very much to climb up that ladder. Now I think into 9th, but more importantly to score points and to be more competitive. Let's go to the 14th spot. This is the hardest spot for me to determine because we have such great drivers. Yuki Tsunoda is a rookie. Pierre Gasly had a brilliant last season. Lance Stroll had a brilliant start. What last season was at one point he was 4th in the championship, so really great. The ending of the season or the second part wasn't that great, but yeah. Sebastian Vettel had a rough last season, but it's Sebastian Vettel, a 4-time world champion. You can't underestimate him. Fernando Alonso is a 2-times world champion and showed much promise at the preseason testing, that he's comfortable, that he's competitive, so I don't think he will fall off the cliff compared to Esteban Ocon. And then there's Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, who I both rate higher than the 14th, 13th and 12th area. So I have to go for Yuki Tsunoda. I think he's a great talent and he will have some brilliant races, but he's a rookie. He's new to F1, not to the sport, but to F1, and he will have a rough time to be there every weekend. And I think that's his disadvantage compared to the other guys. I don't think he's much slower or anything or has less racecraft, but I think the consistency is key. 13th, for me, it's going to be Lance Stroll. I really like Lance and I think he's underrated amongst the F1 community. He showed last season that he was a very good driver, and if the Aston Martin performs better than I expect in 6th, he will climb higher, but as he is right now in 6th, I think Pierre Gasly will outperform Lance Stroll by a small margin and takes away the 12th spot from him. Yeah, I can't see anybody, because I think all the other cars are better, so it's just between Aston Martin and AlphaTauri in these positions. And I think Sebastian Vettel has more experience, is the better, more complete driver, 4-times world champion. Yeah, I think Lance Stroll will learn a lot from him, and he's still young, so Sebastian can kind of teach him to become a better driver. And yeah, I think Gasly will have a brilliant season again, but with his limited AlphaTauri, I think AlphaTauri is better than last year, more competitive, but I don't see them get better than Aston Martin, Ferrari, Alpine or even McLaren. So it just has to be this range for AlphaTauri drivers. In 11th, I see Esteban Ocon. I don't think Esteban Ocon is a bad driver. I don't think anybody except maybe Mazepin is a bad driver or not F1 worthy. All of them prove themselves. But yeah, he wasn't great last season. He scored nearly, roughly half the points of Daniel Ricciardo last season and had a rough time after leaving the sport for one season in 2019. So, and then now against Fernando Alonso, he has to he will look bad. He won't get off good, in my opinion. Now, we've got two world champions, multiple world champions, and two drivers, one driver who will become a world champion, in my opinion, Charles Leclerc, and Carlos Sainz, who will maybe fight for a championship at some point in his career. But I think in 10th, Carlos Sainz. It's his first season in Ferrari, and we've seen him in McLaren doing very good. So he had a good relationship with Lando, of course, and with the whole team, and it was kind of a chill atmosphere. But in Ferrari, we have seen other calibers fail. Just look at Sebastian Vettel's hairline, and you know how much pressure Ferrari puts on the drivers and expect from them. And he is kind of number 2 driver in Ferrari. Charles Leclerc will be number 1 driver. He's younger, he's long in the team, he's the prodigy. So yeah, he is kind of the number 2 driver, and Ferrari will push him out of the way sometimes to Charles Leclerc's advantage. Let's get to 9th. We've got Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, and Daniel Ricciardo. And as you might have expected, I put Sebastian Vettel into 9th. I think he will have a good season, a good recovery season after last year's disaster, but he won't be fighting for a world championship or anything like that. I wish Sebastian all the best in his first stint at Aston Martin, and hopefully he can return to the top at one point. Charles Leclerc will go in 8th. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz will have a kind of identical season. They will both be solid, score consistent points, and yeah, as I said, Ferrari will prefer Charles Leclerc, and that's why he's 2 places above Carlos Sainz. But he will score the odd podium, and always when there's a chance, Charles Leclerc will take it. That's my take on it. 7th, returning to the top, Fernando Alonso. I think he's not quite at the top level, but the Alpine looks strong this year, and I think he has the potential to grab 7th, maybe 6th or 5th, but yeah, I think that's where he stands. Lando Norris will finish 6th in this championship. I know some of you might disagree that he finishes in front of Leclerc, Vettel, Sainz, Ocon, Alonso, yeah. But in my opinion, the McLaren has the edge over all the other midfield cars now with the Mercedes engine, and it looks like they were flying in testing. They had no issues at all with the new engine, and yeah, I think Lando Norris, it's his 3rd season, and he is very comfortable with the car and will be very consistent and will be up for some surprises. Who will take 5th spot? Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, or Sergio Perez? I think Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton are out of this race. I think the next 3 positions are made up by these guys. And yeah, I have to go for Daniel Ricciardo. I think the Red Bull and the Mercedes are too strong this year. As I said, McLaren will be in no man's land, and Ricciardo will be the leader in points of this season. He can adapt very quickly to new cars. We've seen this in Red Bull, where he outscored Sebastian Vettel in 2014, after he just won 4 championships in a row. Then we've also seen this in Renault when he outscored Nico Hülkenberg. And so Ricciardo takes 5th. 4th, I think Valtteri Bottas had a bad season last year. He finished 2nd, but especially the Sakir Grand Prix, where George Russell stepped in for Lewis Hamilton, was a rough race for Valtteri Bottas, and he kind of failed to perform, and that's why I put him into 4th. 3rd, Sergio Perez. Although it's his 1st season, it's Sergio Perez. He, since 2011, I think, where he joined, he's very consistent. He had good results in every team except maybe McLaren. But yeah, good driver. Obviously won the Sakir Grand Prix last year, his 1st win, and I think he will continue his good form and get a strong 3rd place in the championship. So as you may have seen, I've put Mercedes into first and Valtteri Bottas lower than Sergio Perez. So my next clear step is to put Max Verstappen into second. I think Max will be much closer than last year to Lewis, and I think there will be a kind of a championship battle like we had in, I don't know, 2017, 2018. Since then, not really, because Bottas wasn't up to the pace over one season compared to Lewis Hamilton. And yeah, I think Max Verstappen will be world champion. I think 2022 could be his real shot. I think this year it's not ready. He is ready, but the car isn't ready, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my take on the season. I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe. I will react to Drive to Survive season 3 when it comes out. Yeah, I upload this as quick as I've got to it. So yeah, thanks. Bye.